Welcome to Quays News. Coming up on tonight's programme, we look at how Salford has become the UK's first heart-safe city.
We speak to a mother from Stratford who has opened a shop she won in a competition.
And we visit a local festival raising money for the homeless. Good evening and welcome to Quays TV News. I'm Emily Rogers.
And I'm Jamie Mackerel.
Former radio DJ Ray Terrett has been jailed for 25 years after being found guilty of indecent assault at Manchester Crown Court at Minshall Street this morning. The sentence relates to offences against 11 teenage girls over 35 years from the 1960s.
6 people have been arrested in a raid by police in the early hours of this morning. 5 are being held on suspicion of conspiracy to commit burglary and robbery, and the other on suspicion of possessing Class A drugs with intent to supply.
Manchester City Council have announced £60 million worth of cuts, meaning important services in the community could be affected. One women's charity protested the cuts yesterday, fearing that services protecting women would suffer as they have in the past. Penny James went along.
What do we want? To stop the cut! When do we want it? Now!
Safety for Sisters are protesting potential cuts to vital women's services. The services have suffered major cuts in the past, with 31% of funding lost in just 1 year. There are concerns it could happen again.
We're demonstrating today against the cuts in services. So the cuts that are being engineered by this coalition government are starving women's services. They are meaning that Women's Aid can't provide children's services. They are meaning that all sorts of women cannot get access to safe refuge in order to leave abusive men. They're meaning that rape crisis centres are existing on very short-term services. It won't do. It's not good enough. Women and children are dying because of lack of access to services and support.
On average, 2 women a week are killed by a former or current partner. The services in danger help to prevent these incidents. This day also marked Human Rights Day.
England is no stranger to austerity cuts, and women's services are often the first to suffer. These women are braving this bitter weather today to say no to these potential cuts and to say women's rights are human rights.
I'd like to ask you to think about what you're going to do when your friend tells you that their partner's beating them. When your child comes back from school and says that their friend witnessed their mum being battered the night before. Where are you going to tell those people to go? Where are you going to direct them? And what happens when it's your sister, when it's your mother, maybe when it's your brother? What are you going to do? Because you won't miss our services until it's too late, until you need them and they're gone.
Manchester City Council were unavailable for comment at this time. For now, the people of Manchester wait for the new year to see which services will be cut and if it will be our most vulnerable who will suffer. Penny James, Quays TV News, Manchester.
A day centre for elderly people in Withington was destroyed in a huge fire last night. Nobody is believed to have been inside the Minehead Resource Centre when the fire started, and no injuries were reported. The burned out centre will be demolished this week after extensive damage, and costs have been estimated at hundreds of thousands of pounds.
A Salford-based charity has been working towards putting a defibrillator in every school in the area. The machines can save lives by delivering a shock to the heart when a sudden cardiac arrest occurred. Emily Howard has more.
Salford is the first city in the UK to have a defibrillator in every school. The life-saving equipment has been provided through fundraising by children's charity Hand on Heart. 12 young people die every week from cardiac arrest.
The figure that shocks us most of all is it's 270 children every year will lose their lives in school through having a sudden cardiac arrest where there are no defibrillators on site. So we want to create awareness of sudden cardiac arrest out there in the schools, raise funds and put defibrillators and training into those schools, teach staff how to use a defibrillator and teach the children a life skill, how to do CPR, call 999 and recognise the signs of having a heart attack or a sudden cardiac arrest.
Right, OK, Tilly, would you like to put your hands into the position? And we're going to go right in between those chest bones and we need to have our elbows locked and we've got to do 30 of these chest compressions. So can you do that for me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So what have the kids learnt?
It's a special machine that you put on someone and you do 30 hand compressions and rescue breaths. It saves people's lives.
With support from Salford City Council, over 100 defibrillators are now in schools across the city.
Of course it makes us feel very proud, but more importantly, it's the lives that it will save, children and staff and adults in schools. And that's the key thing. It's the people that count. That's the true spirit of Salford.
Hand on Heart have proved you can't put a price on saving a life. They have a bright future teaching children a lifelong skill. This is Emily Howitt for Quays TV News, Earlham.
Now, Salford has a new bishop for the first time in 17 years. John Arnold held his first carol service by candlelight at the Roman Catholic chaplaincy in Manchester last night.
The nuncio simply says, Pope Francis has appointed you as Bishop of Salford. Do you accept? Well, I think obedience is rather important, and I've always tried to be obedient in what I do, and I haven't got any real reasons why I shouldn't be Bishop of Salford, although it's a very big responsibility. I shall now be getting to know the diocese, and that means listening to people and getting to know them in the parishes and the schools. Everyone's on their own journey and making all their decisions according to their conscience and their understanding and what they believe is the best thing to do. And to be able to help them in that and to walk with them is very important. This celebration has been really a very good reminder that we are preparing for Christmas. Christmas is important, but it's not just an end of anything, it's the beginning of the new year and new challenges ahead.
A single mum from Salemore opened a top trend handbag shop at Stretford Mall after she won a competition for budding entrepreneurs. She started her business at one of the lowest points in her life. Amelia Minchiva has more.
It's been a week since Tracy Gibbons officially opened her top trend handbag shop in Stretford. Tracy's dream to have her own shop became reality after she won a free unit in a shopping centre as a part of a competition.
I just couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. I just couldn't. It's as if somebody's waved a magic wand over me this year and said, right, here's some good luck. Have some more good luck.
Tracy started her business earlier this year after the relationship with her partner broke down.
I was in a really, really bad place, and I didn't know where I was going to go and what I was going to do next. Things change. You've got to make that change. You can't just sit there and wallow in your self-pity, unfortunately. You've got to get out there and do something about it.
The management team at the shopping centre said the initiative was a good way to fill some of the empty units.
Up and down the country there's quite a lot of free vacant units. That's not something that's just specific to this site. But it made sense to run a competition like this for the community, to give them the opportunity to get in while we have the space.
Having gone through quite a period of a lot of empty shop units, it's really starting to lift up the place, you know. Empty shops is just not good for anything.
The mother of two said her children were her biggest motivation.
You sit with your children at night time and, you know, that's your motivation. You look at them and you think, I'm going to do everything I can for you.
Tracy is now determined this is only the beginning and her biggest success is still to come. For Quays TV News, Amelia Minchiva.
North West Ambulance Service has received a record number of calls this festive period. The ambulance service are urging people to think before they call and assess whether the situation is truly an emergency. We spoke to duty manager Martin Hawksworth.
We've experienced a massive spike in demand since about the 1st of December. We've gone up on average about 300 calls a day just for the Manchester area alone. All NHS services are experiencing this demand spike. We don't know what the real reason is behind that because we've never seen this before. The pressures in the system are that there are people there waiting that we know that are poorly, that do need an ambulance, and because there's so many other people calling in, it's trying to sift those people out and make sure that they get somebody that they deserve, really.
Manchester Airports Group has announced its shareholders will net a profit.
The 10 Greater Manchester councils are receiving a total of £20 million following an increase in its passengers. Manchester Council will get £11 million from this profit. The leader of the council, Sir Richard Leese, said this is the first time Manchester Airports Group has paid an interim dividend and that the money will be used to offset the impact of the council's mainstream budget cuts. He also said it was a testament to how important an asset the airport is to our cities.
The UK's only National Asian Wedding Awards came to Manchester this week. Our reporter Lalisha Ali was there to talk to the winners.
Companies from across the Northwest came together this week to celebrate the best of the Asian wedding industry. House of Roxana took the award for Makeup Artist of the Year.
It shows that what we do, people appreciating what we do, and we do try our best to make everybody's wedding special and give them the time that they deserve. So to be recognised for that, it's really an honour. I think this award this event that's been organised by Jewel and Munia Ali, it's amazing because not regularly the people that are in the industry get recognised for what they do.
This was the second annual award ceremony. Zinc Occasions took the accolade for Venue and Stage Decorator of the Year.
Zinc Occasions. Well, Zinc Occasions, please.
A few words by Zinc Occasions.
Bit of a shocker. Thank you very much. I think that's all I can say really. I'm very, very surprised.
Organisers of the event, Jewel Khan and Munia Ali, expressed their reasons for bringing the awards to Manchester.
Manchester's where it started off last year. We want to keep that tradition going this year as well. Manchester is probably the second largest Asian wedding sector outside London. We want to kind of celebrate that. It's a benchmark. It means that people are being recognised for being great at what they do.
Let's hope there's even more awards next year for Manchester's Asian wedding industry. Lalisha Ali reporting for Quays TV.
Labour leader Ed Miliband announced this week that if there is a Labour government after the next general election, he will lower the voting age to 16 from May 2016. Now, joining us in the studio is our political correspondent, Dan McLaughlin. So, Dan, this move, it's not really a new idea, this votes for 16s, is it?
Not really, no. I mean, the Greens sort of promised this all the way back in 2008, and the Lib Dems, full of empty promises themselves, promised it in their 2010 general election manifesto. So it's not a new idea. Even going back this year for the Scottish independence referendum vote, the age was actually lowered for 16 and 17-year-olds to vote for the first time.
Now, yeah, I mean, it seems that this is a desperate move from Ed Miliband, whose ratings haven't been great lately, his leadership ratings. Do you think this is him trying to claw back some votes from somewhere?
Well, I think all the politicians are doing that. The mainstream politicians are suffering at the moment. Each election, when it happens, the voter turnout is going down and down and down. So Miliband's not just the only one who's unpopular. It's David Cameron, it's Nick Clegg. If we go back to 2010, for Salford in particular, the voter turnout was 55.5%, just over half of the people voted. That, you know, for democracy, half of the people have not been represented in Parliament because they haven't voted. And
well, just go on what you're saying about the local figures and things.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you tell us? What sort of pattern have we got here? Which groups are coming out to vote? You know, are younger people coming out anyway to vote? Well, you know, it's 55%.
Yeah. Well, in Salford in 2010, I'll bring you back there again, it was 44% of 18 to 24-year-olds who voted. Compare this to the 76%, of all the people who voted. Their policies, their ideas are the ones who's been represented, not the young people, because the older people are voting in the masses, and younger people just aren't.
Well, you could say maybe this is the Conservatives and UKIP have been targeting older votes. Maybe Ed Miliband's just sort of setting it up for the next election. He's called it this one, he's already lost. He's just sort of laying the groundwork for next time round.
Well, to be fair, Labour did lose a lot of votes as well in Scotland. We can't forget that during the independence referendum. It went to SNP. So Labour have lost a vote, so maybe they're trying to claw it back there. The thing is, we can always compare about the Scottish independence referendum. It was a very big, higher voter turnout, but it was a pivotal moment. It was a very important moment. The general election happens every 5 years. We're used to it. It's like watching Friends on E4. Maybe if they did an anniversary, people would watch it.
OK, thanks very much, Dan. And you never know, you might be in contention yourself with your red tie there for Labour leadership.
Your belief for the Tories.
Oh, Jesus. Thanks, Dan. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Dan. And now over to Sam Rosbottom with the sport.
Thanks, Emily.
So then, Manchester City are through to the knockout stages of the Champions League after a 2-0 win against Roma last night. It's the second successive year Manuel Pellegrini has guided his side past the group stages and marks a remarkable turnaround for City, who could have been eliminated a couple of weeks ago. The Blues will find out who they'll play in the next round on Monday when the draw takes place at 11 a.m. UEFA rules means they can't face either Chelsea, Arsenal or Bayern Munich, but they could play the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona or Atletico. On social media, City striker Sergio Aguero tweeted, "Looking at the match from outside is nerve-wracking. It's a great joy seeing the work made by the team that always kept fighting till the end." Goalscorer Pablo Zabaleta added, "What a great game and what a victory. Very proud of this team. Come on, City." And finally, The Telegraph's Henry Winter described it as an epic night for City and instilled Zabaleta as the epitome of City's resilience. Don't forget to remember to tweet us your predictions for Monday's draw and also for this weekend's clash at Leicester. On to cricket now. England claimed a priceless 5-wicket victory in Sri Lanka earlier on today, inspired by a Joe Root century. Rain delayed play yesterday, but when it resumed this morning, James Taylor's 68 and Chris Woakes' six wickets capped off a fine all-round performance. Beginning their chase of 240 after a lengthy rain delay, Alistair Cook's side knocked off the runs with 5 balls to spare. Sri Lanka still lead the series with 2 games remaining, but the win means England are still in contention. That's your latest sports news. Back to Jamie.
Thanks very much for that, Sam. Cheers now. The Homeless Festival took place last night at Antwerp Mansion in Rusholme. The wintry fundraiser featured a range of creative talents from across the northwest in aid of the homeless. Chloe Beckett went down to the event.
The Homeless Film Festival is a long-running project founded here in Manchester. The festival tours the country screening films made by homeless people or that tackle the issue of homelessness head-on. Antwerp Mansion brought together a host of local talent, including bands and DJs. We spoke to headline band Skinny Living.
We got involved because my sister has made some incredible artwork, and obviously she's been helping out with everything, and she asked me to and the rest of the band to come and play and everything. So yeah, that's how we've got here. It's an amazing place as well.
There will also be an expedition displaying the work of up-and-coming local artists. We spoke to event organiser Claire Cummings.
Well, my name is Claire Cummings and I've only started volunteering for the Homeless Film Festival in the last sort of couple of months. Well, it's a creative charity that sort of gives opportunities to people that may not have had them originally, and it's about creating, awareness and bringing to light issues that people maybe aren't addressing. All the tickets and any donations that are made in the door will all go directly to the charity, so that's good.
My name's Dean Brocklehurst, I'm the co-director of the Homeless Film Festival. So tonight's just a really great way to kind of have a bit of fun, but also raise a bit of awareness on some of the sort of things that the Homeless Film Festival does. Yeah, so this is the 3rd fundraiser now that we've had this year. So we've had a couple down in London, this is the first one in Manchester. And again, the fundraisers kind of range from like tonight, where there might be a few bands playing, or there might be film screenings, or poetry readings we've had. So we try and incorporate a lot of the different art forms into our fundraisers.
And now Chloe Nebord has the latest weather for us.
Thanks, Emily. Rain will continue for the rest of the afternoon and into tonight, with temperatures remaining a cool 5 degrees. Hilly areas may see a sprinkling of snow tonight. It will be cold start for most of tomorrow with some ice around, so be careful on the roads, but we should see sunny spells with isolated showers. However, the wind will continue to make it feel much cooler. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks for that, Chloe. Looks like we might be needing our Christmas jumpers tomorrow then, so it's a good thing it's National Christmas Jumper Day. Will you be rocking your Christmas jumper tomorrow then, Emily?
I have one, I don't know if I'll be wearing it, but we definitely want to see you guys wearing it, so send us your pictures and your selfies on Twitter using the hashtag Christmas Jumper Day, and we might even show it on tomorrow's show.
Yeah, but maybe see your own one too.
I don't know about that. Sadly, that's all we have time for today. Remember, you can stay up to date with the latest news on our website, quaysnews.net, and tune in again tomorrow at 5.
Thanks very much for joining us. Goodbye.